like sometimes when we get into stuff like that, we don't try to lean on the fact, okay, I am Israel, but like instead of trying to glorify the Most High. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately what like the message I see is that like most of the stuff was a heart problem. You know what I'm saying? Versus people trying to do stuff outwardly. You know what I'm saying?
Even so, ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity.
And see, that's imagine that cutting brothers even to this day, man. Because how many brothers will look at you and scream at you and yell at you, but if you scream and yell back at them, they'll point that out. Brothers like to bring that precept out that where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them. So when you do this ministry, treat it as if Yahawah is right in front of you. Those kind of fruits of the Spirit, man, are things that should be done, especially by your teachers, by your prophets, by people who say that they're coming out in the name of Yahawah. Well, you're his representative. Take that seriously. King Solomon is known as being what? One of the wisest men to ever live. So Yahawah made it plain, a greater than Solomon is here. He's bringing up accounts where he sent Jonas to the people and they just believed on him and repented. So you probably had a woman in the middle of her whoredom, but the minute she heard the truth, she repented from it. That woman is more justified than that Pharisee who was keeping the commandments and beating on his chest like, hey, look at me, I'm keeping the law. Look at my fringes, brother. You know, check out my dress, brother. Look at my phylacteries. I brought that up last night, man. What does that mean, brother? Ye blind guides who strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. But we know it, a gnat is small, right? So imagine the brother straining at it like, look at that gnat, brother, look at that gnat. And the whole time the entire camel is basically swallowed. It's basically saying somebody who's focused on the smallest matters and the biggest matters that completely overlook. By thy words thou shalt be what, brother?
Thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
Now, how many people treat their life like that? How many people treat life like your words is what's going to justify you and your words are what's going to condemn you? If we really have a fear of the Most High God, then that's going to be the beginning of what starts to make us wise. Because you're going to treat him like he's real. How many people treat the Most High God like he's real? That's the one reason why I even got with these brothers like camps. Hebrew Israelites have gone through a lot of transitions and Most High willing will continue to. But the truth is obviously with us. That's how I know who these people are. The truth of the word is with us.
Ask Yahawah, hear what I pray, cause I know I can die any day. Please Yahawah, just show me the way. Tryna walk down the path that you laid. Tired of sinning, cause I ain't the God.
Book of Sirach, chapter 23, and verse 18. And it reads, it says, a man that breaketh wedlock, saying, thus is his heart. Who see me? I am compassed about with darkness. The walls cover me, and nobody see me.
This is describing a man that's creating this, that's doing his sin, but this is the kind of sins that a man can't see. So that's what he's saying. Who sees me? Who sees me in the midst of this sin? I'm in darkness. Continue, brother.
What need I to fear? The Most High would not remember my sins. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun.
Hold up. How bright is the eyes of the Lord, brother?
10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts. He knew all things ere ever they were created. So also after they were perfected, the look upon them all. This man shall be punished in the streets of the city, and where he suspected not, he shall be taken.
So this is just making your point as well, brother. Some people are going to keep those commandments, and we're not going to act like that's not the case. Some people keep these fringes so they can be seen of men. But the Most High God, his eyes is 1,000 times brighter than the sun. And that don't mean literally like he's looking at you like Cyclops, but he's able to discern what's really in your heart. So I'm afraid that the Most High is going to look at me and be like, okay, are you making excuses for not wearing fringes, or are you trying to be obedient? Which one are you? Because I can understand where that's not a bad question, brother. That's definitely a good question. Where, you know, hey, the laws are in my heart, so why is it that I have to keep these? the Most High is going to be able to determine if you're doing that because you're trying to scoff, like you're trying to be difficult, or if you're really seeking to actually displease Him. So at the end of the day, even though it's an outwardly commandment, the Most High is still looking at the inward part of you and why you did it. So a brother that's out here doing this just to be seen of men, he's going to be seen as wicked by the Most High. But in likewise, a brother that's doing this because he's trying to be obedient, he didn't even really go into the facts of like, oh, okay, it's written in my law. His mindset was more, the word says it, the Most High said it, I'm gonna be obedient to that command.
I guess what the point I was trying to get at is that like, and what now that you explain that you read that makes sense. Because I know most people, most brothers in the truth, they're trying to do it, just to be seen. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like, I feel like, like sometimes when we get into truth and stuff like that, we don't try to lean on the fact, okay, I am Israel, but like instead of trying to glorify the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like going back. It's like if you read Matthew 15, the scribes and Pharisees were trying to test Yahawah, talking about like, hey, why do your disciples eat with unwashed hands? But he was saying it's not what goes from out of a man.
Tell me this ain't the spirit, brother, because did we not just go over this last night? We just went over this topic last night, brother. That's when I said, you're missing out on with the precept. But now, continue, brother.
He was saying, because they was, and then he turned back around and said, okay, so why do you transgress the laws of God by your tradition, right? But he went on to say it's not what's out on a man that defiles him, but it's what comes on it's what's on the inside of a man that defiles him. You know what I'm saying? And people try to use it to say, you can eat anything, but that's not what that's for. You know what I'm saying? That's not what that's for. Like, he was dealing with the unwashed hands part, But ultimately what like the legends I see is that like most of the stuff was a heart problem. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Versus people trying to do stuff outwardly. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say that's why I was trying to make sure like where y'all was at when it came to wearing fringes, because I wanted to know like, okay, like I know why you're wearing it, but I mean like, are we wearing it with the right intention though? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, actually, can you go to Matthew chapter 12 and 36? I'm gonna make your point, brother, because believe it or not, we agree with you, brother. You get Romans 8 and 28, man, so I'm gonna bring this up because we understand that there's different camps. We understand that there's brothers that got different spirits, but what we also understand is, I'm gonna let Paul say it in Romans 8 and 28, brother.
Book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God.
You heard that one before, right? All things work.
I grew up in the Christian church, so yeah, I understand.
And so, you'll see a lot of brothers that's out here getting on Esau and getting on people, but what we understand is these things are written. Right. You can go in the book of Ezekiel 35 and see where Ezekiel was told by the Most High to go and prophesy against Mount Seir, go and prophesy against Edom. So a lot of these things have to come to place. They have to come to pass. So what this scripture is basically saying, that all things work through the glory of God. Yeah. So I may not be in the same spirit of that brother that's getting on Esau and telling them that they the problem, but that still had to happen. You see what I'm saying? That work still had to be done. Finish that out, brother.
To them who are the called according to his promise, for the purpose, for whom he did foreknew, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of the Son.
Stop right there. Yeah, that's just saying first. I want to get that out there.
Book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment.
See, and I love that precept. And that precept, that's going to rub a lot of brothers the wrong way. I'm not going to lie to you about it. Because you'll have brothers that are, we're going to get into this, brother, but one of the things we were talking about as a camp is how Yahawah told them that there was weightier matters of the law, that the scribes and Pharisees were overlooking. Things like judgment, things like mercy, and things like truth. So I think that this scripture really puts that into play, where you said that it's not what goes into the mouth that defiles a man, but what comes out of the mouth that defiles a man. Yahawah made this plain in Matthew 12 and 36, but go on to 37, brother, see what he says about this. This one struck me to the heart, man. And most high willing, it strikes all brothers, especially brothers in this truth, to the heart. Because Yahawah came to magnify the law. So a lot of people think he took away from it, but us brothers was just discussing last night how Yahawah came and magnified the law. So there was things that brothers might have been doing carnally or physically, like you're saying, fringes, maybe dresses on a woman, but Yahawah came to magnify the law to go into your spirit and your mind. That's why he's going into what defiles you being your words, but he's going to clear that up, brother. Go to 37.
Verse 37. For by thy words thou shalt be justified.
Hold up. By thy words thou shalt be what, brother?
Thou shalt be justified. And by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
Now, how many people treat their life like that? How many people treat life like your words is what's going to justify you and your words are what's going to condemn you? So I urge that to all the brothers, man. And this is something that we're learning as we go. But that's why I brought out Romans 8:28 first, to let you know that all things work for the glory of the Most High. So a lot of these things had to come to pass. Brothers had to be out on the street giving Esau his judgment. Brothers had to be out on the street waking up their people first to be in Israel. And you're right, there's a lot of brothers that lead with, hey, you're Israel, you're a God on the earth. But all of these things had to come to pass in accordance with Romans 8:28. So instead of being in opposition with those brothers, I look at it like everything is going in accordance with the will of the Most High at the end of the day. But go ahead and finish that, brother, because it gets even more deep in verse 38.
Verse 38. Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, an evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The man of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonas.
Hear that? Now he's telling you that those men who came and they repented at the preaching of Jonas are going to be justified. And he's comparing them in relation to these scribes and Pharisees who think that they're not masters of the law and they're keeping all the commandments. But he's bringing up accounts where he sent Jonas to the people and they just believed on him and repented. So you probably had a woman in the middle of her whoredom, but the minute she heard the truth, she repented from it. That woman is more justified than that Pharisee who was keeping the commandments and beating on his chest like, hey, look at me, I'm keeping the law. Look at my fringes, brother. You know, check out my dress, brother. Look at my phylacteries. So this is what is going to continue down to 40, brother.
Right here. Because they repented at the preaching of Jonas, and behold, a greater than Jonas is here.
I thought that was impactful too. Yahawah shall letting you know a greater than Jonas is here, and you're still not repenting to his word. Keep going, brother.
The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it. For she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And behold, a greater than Solomon is here. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none.
Consolaki, I just want to go back to that point. You heard he also said the same thing about King Solomon. So King Solomon is known as being what? One of the wisest men to ever live. So Yahawah made it plain, a greater than Solomon is here. He's basically cutting these men to the heart, like these people, even who you thought were wicked back in the times, at least had a heart to hearken to the words of whether it was Jonas or whether it was hearkening to the words of Solomon. But here you got somebody who's greater than Jonas and greater than Solomon, and you guys won't hearken to the word and repent at his command, at his teaching, at his word. Is that the end of that 42, brother? Finish on that 42.
Verse 42. The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it. For she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And behold, a greater than Solomon is here.
So that's being made plain. You got Matthew 23 and verse 23.
Just one more account, brother, to make your point. We believe everything you're saying, brother. That's why I said we just went over. This is it.
The book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 23.
Yes.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye pay tithes of the mint and the tithes and cummins, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
Hold up, brother. The what matters of the law?
The weightier matters of the law.
So there is such thing as weightier matters of the law. Yahawah is going to go into it.
Judgment, mercy, and faith.
What are those weightier matters, brother?
Judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
Can we stop that at, actually, let's go to 28, end at 28.
Verse 24, ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel.
that up last night, man. What does that mean, brother? Ye blind guides who strain at a gnat and swallow a camel.
Tell me, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, we know it, a gnat is small, right? So imagine the brother straining at it like, look at that gnat, brother, look at that gnat on you. And the whole time, an entire camel he's able to swallow. It's basically saying somebody who's focused on the smallest matters and the biggest matters they completely overlook. You got a brother who will sit and strain at the smallest matters. That's why I said we're making your point, brother, that there is such thing as weightier matters of the law. So you have a brother that'll strain at the smallest details, like, I mean, we keep bringing up fringes, brother, and don't get me wrong, no brothers up here saying don't keep these fringes. We already explained that. I'm just making your point, brother, that these fringes go well beyond the physical. It goes well beyond the carnal, and Yahawah was cutting people with that doctrine. Go ahead and continue, brother.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess.
Yahawah is making this plain. So you do have men that rest on those carnal parts of the law, and they think that that's giving them righteousness. That's why we brought out in the book of Sirach 23:19, the Most High's eyes is 1,000 times brighter than the sun. So he sees that. He's going to see that you're doing that just to get the approval of men. That you're doing that just to look like you're righteous in the sight of men. And Yahawah is looking at your heart. That's why that scripture that you brought out, where the mouth, what comes out of the mouth defiles a man. And then if you keep going, it says, because out of the mouth proceeds evil thoughts and adulteries and wickedness. And those are the things that defile a man. So basically, off of the words that you say, I can tell what's in your mind and your heart. And a lot of brothers overlook that wisdom from Yahawah, but you shouldn't do that, man. Yahawah told you a greater than Jonas is here. A greater than King Solomon is here. So it would be wise to hearken to that. That's why we agree with you with that, brother. We'll finish that out.
Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup,
Clean first, which is in the cup.
and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also.
See, that makes my point, brother, because that's kind of what we're saying where these fringes come from. I don't know brother's journey, man, and I'm not going to pretend to, but my journey is, Yahawah had my heart well before I wore the fringes, brother. And that was the process. That's why when I see a brother walking up the street, I'm not going to strain at a gnat and tell him you need to put some fringes on. Like I told you, I'm going to try to see if that brother's humble enough to receive instruction. I'm going to try to see if that brother's seeking truth enough to even go and seek out the word of the Most High God. Because those are matters that are weightier, your judgment, your mercy. And so I'm going to judge that brother not based on the smallest matters. I'm going to judge him based on weightier matters. Do you have the ability to receive the love of the truth? Do you have the ability to humble yourself so that we can pour truth into you? These are things that are to be done and not left undone. So go ahead and finish it out, but I think we only got 2 more scriptures down to 28.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, ye hypocrites! For ye are like unto witted sculptures, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones, and all of uncleanness. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity.
Now see, that's imagine that cutting brothers even to this day, man. Because how many brothers will look at you and scream at you and yell at you, but if you scream and yell back at them, they'll point that out. Well, brother, sometimes, I'm not saying, now you see, like, we just had an example, that brother that was up here was giving energy that we weren't giving him. But sometimes you receive the energy that you put out. Exactly. So those kind of fruits of the spirit, man, are things that should be done, especially by your teachers, by your prophets, by people who say that they're coming out in the name of Yahawah Bashim Yahawah. Well, you're his representative. Take that seriously. And I do that, man. Somebody go to Proverbs 1:7. This is one of the most beautiful verses in the Bible to me. We probably bring this out every week, maybe not last week, but this is one of the most beautiful scriptures in the Bible to me. Proverbs 1:7, brother.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 7. The fear of Yahawah is the beginning of knowledge.
Man, see, I broke that down. I told my sister that because we was just talking. She asked me, what do you want to go to? Where should I start? And I told her, well, if you're looking for wisdom, go to the book of Proverbs. Start at chapter 1 and read it 12 times. Because the first time, you probably ain't going to break down how important a scripture like that is. And true enough, she didn't. Until I broke down 7:4. Read it one more time from the top, brother.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 7. The fear of Yahawah is the beginning of knowledge.
Now, if you say that backwards, that basically means that the beginning of your knowledge starts with what? That means you cannot teach a person that doesn't have a real fear of Yahawah. See, people take faith like it's a common thing, but Yahawah told even his disciples that if you had the faith of a mustard seed, that you could move mountains. So a lot of people walking around here believing that they believe in God, which is basically, that's what the fear of the Most High means. It means that shows your level of faith. So this is saying that you can't even get to the beginning of knowledge if you didn't start with having the fear of the Most High. Like, try teaching somebody that doesn't really care. And try teaching somebody, this is what I also implore to my brothers. Teach your ministry as if Yahawah and Yahawah Ba'ashem Shah was right here in front of you. Because brothers like to bring that precept out that where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them. So when you do this ministry, treat it as if Yahawah Shah is right in front of you. That's how I like to come off. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at that, brothers. I'm pretty sure I misspeak. I'm pretty sure sometimes I go off, especially with my knowledge. I may not know the answers to all those questions, but that is something that we can do. If we really have a fear of the Most High God, then that's going to be the beginning of what starts to make us wise. Because you're going to treat him like he's real. How many people treat the Most High God like he's real? That's the one reason why I even got with these brothers like camps. Because you can say a lot of things about these camps, but what you can't say about them is they brothers that have at least more faith than your church does. Because these brothers are willing to go out into the streets and learn and teach you all of these things you see, brother. We spend, we buy with our own money. Like, we don't ask for anything. Brothers are doing this because they have, I'm not saying we got good amount of faith, but these brothers have at least enough faith to get out here and do the work. So these are the kind of brothers that are beginning to treat the Most High like he's real. That gets me into my next point, man, of how I feel like brothers don't bring this up a lot, but one of the main tips, or should I say key clues to let you know who the children of Israel are, brother, nobody has ever taught this Bible like the so-called Hebrew Israelites. Tell me I'm wrong. We've been in this world for thousands of years. Nobody's came and given the real truth and understanding of the Bible like Hebrew Israelites. And that's not to say that brothers are perfect, because everything is a process, man. You obviously start as a seed, then you bloom into something greater. But I've never seen a movement of more truth-telling and brothers that actually fit the scriptures than the Hebrew Israelites. Somebody let me get the book of Psalms, chapter 111 and 10. Because this was also another thing, brother. If, let's say that I'm a physical therapist or a physical fitness instructor, and I'm trying to teach you how to get in shape. Are you not going to require that I myself are in shape?
Yeah.
Or that's at least going to be important to you, right? If I got a belly out the hill, you probably not going to come to my workout studio to work out.
I'm a trainer, so I know.
Exactly. So this was one of the main keys that made me start respecting these brothers. That's why when I heard the truth coming from a Hebrew Israelite for the first time, I knew that was Yahawah Shah speaking. I knew that brother wasn't speaking with guile in his mouth, which is guile means deceit. So I knew that every pastor was telling me lies, even though they sounded beautiful, because that's what pastors are good at. Prosperity doctrine, telling you all the things you want to hear. It wasn't until I ran across a Hebrew Israelite that I knew I was hearing the truth. You got that in Psalms 111 and 10?
Book of Psalms, chapter 111 and verse 10. The fear of Yahawah is the beginning of wisdom.
There's that again, just in case we needed it outside of Proverbs. This is also being echoed in Psalms 111, that the fear of the Most High is the beginning of your wisdom. But listen to this last part, brother.
A good understanding have all they that do this commandment.
Who has a good understanding?
Have all they that do this commandment.
That's one of the reasons why I gravitated to these Hebrew Israelites. The same reason why you would gravitate to a physical fitness trainer that actually looked like what you wanted to look like. So if you're trying to get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from a brother, you better make sure that you're with a brother that's actually keeping the commandments, because he's more than likely to have the actual understanding of what's written. So, like I said, Hebrew Israelites have gone through a lot of transitions, and Most High willing will continue to. But the truth is obviously with us. That's how I know who these people are. The truth of the word is with us. And it seems like you right there too, brother, where you believe you are Israel. And that's a mighty thing. What else you had, brother?
That was it. That's all. That's all, man.
No, I'll praise, brother. I hope we was able to answer any questions.
Yeah, man. So I appreciate y'all doing the work, bro. For real.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, brother. That's what it is. But what you got, brother?
So like the book of Matthew, chapter 4, and verse 4. But he answered and said, red letter, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahawah.
What should be our food? What should be our substance? What should be our nourishment, brother?
But by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahawah.
Now we all know that Yahawah is called what? The Word made flesh. So that's why I brought us to those chapters in the book of Matthew 23 and brought us into Matthew 12. Because Yahawah was giving people clear commandments, clear instruction on what it was that defiles you. And we even read how you were going to be justified and condemned. So the words that come out of your mouth is important, brother. And that's something that I'm working with every day. But, you know, we agree with your point, brother. There's definitely weightier matters of the law. I don't think fringes is going to condemn a brother, but that doesn't mean you don't wear your fringes. It just shows you that a person there's two kind of people that wear fringes is what I'm saying. The person that's doing it so they can be seen of man, and the person that's doing it so they can be obedient to the Most High God. So if you are going to do it, make sure you do it for that second reason, brother.
Ask Yahawah, he hear what I pray, cause I know I can die any day. Please Yahawah, just show me the way. Tryna walk down the path that you laid.